It's unclear whether there's any hope or if this is all just a kind of an exercise to make the White House happy and feel that at least some negotiations are moving ahead. On the positive side, this is the first time in modern history that Lebanon and Israel are engaged in direct talks, first time ever. And so that's an historic possibility. The Israeli government has shown itself to be extremely ambivalent, and I'm being generous. Initially, the Israeli government made it clear that these talks would amount to nothing, and that basically they were doing it as a kind of gesture towards Donald Trump, not towards Lebanon. And as you said, the prime minister all along has made it very clear to Israel in a series of public statements that the presence of Israeli soldiers in Lebanon is not going to end anytime soon, that this is permanent. He has allowed his ministers to speak of an occupation of a huge, huge, unprecedented swath of southern Lebanon. So none of this would lead one to think there's any hope. On the other hand, the prime minister is really in a bit of a corner vis-a-vis the Israeli public. And when he keeps talking about a military presence in Lebanon, that has been heard by the Israeli public as eternal war. And since that message doesn't seem to be going over very well, just in the last 2 or 3 days, messaging from the Israeli government has taken a different tack and has said, we're not negotiating over Hezbollah, we're negotiating peace with Lebanon, as if a sort of peace with Egypt that Prime Minister Menachem Begin did in 1979 were an in the offing. So it's going to depend on the Israeli side almost entirely on the prime minister himself, who has appointed two cronies very close to him, very loyal to him, to be involved in these negotiations, the Israeli ambassador to the US, Yechiel Leiter, and his kind of right-hand man, Ron Dermer. And we're going to have to see, I'm afraid some of this will depend on what the prime minister perceives as more favorable to him in the eyes of the Israeli public.